Get out the insurance cards, get out the copays. The office is open, my friends. Brought to you by drroto.com.
Hello, my fellow breadheads, and welcome to the One and Done Sunday Recap Show powered by drroto.com. I am your host, Chris Napier, a.k.a. Napesy Hustle, and I just got to say, bang, bang, Niner gang, celebrating all day today. That was a tough win, but a good one. But beyond that, we are here to go over the last week in college basketball. We have our headlines. We have one of my favorite segments here, the Mid-Major Minute, and of course, our world-famous power rankings, and a new segment that's going to be coming your way here. So stay tuned here. But before we get to all that fun, let me get to my guys to the left and the right of me. First, we have the captain of the Green Screens Media Ship. You've seen him on these live before lock shows, breaking down all the key plays to help the GSM universe out. You can follow him on X at MC Holland 34, my buddy, Mike Holland. How you feeling, brother?
Yo, I'm feeling better than I was the last 24 to 48 hours. Had that good bug. So I didn't get to enjoy watching a lot of college basketball on Saturday, but I made up for it today, watching a bunch of games, as well as the NFL playoffs, which, hey, we're down to 4 teams. So you know what? College basketball time. But yeah, man, I'm excited to talk about the week that was, and we'll break down some core plays. But also, man, shout out to you again. Another top 20 in the Big Jam. This is just a regular occurrence for you, my guy.
Yeah, it's been a good time. Loving doing the show with you guys, and getting all that information, man. It's been great. But yeah, man, gonna go over to our next guy.
You don't have to out-humble me, okay? You don't have to out-humble me, all right?
I eat humble pie for breakfast every day. The gentleman that just spoke here, of course, is our conductor of the aforementioned Green Screens Media train. You can find him on X at Dr. William Cannon. One commenter called him the #1 host in fantasy sports. Got a little bit of a big head there. Mr. Jay Heinrich, what it do, brother?
I don't know that my head could possibly get any bigger, but I did appreciate that comment. Of course, I love doing this show with everybody. What it do, GSM universe out here in these Central Texas streets. A little bit warmer than it was last week, and it's going to get warmer here. Warm enough for some Sunbelt action. I had a Sunbelt doubleheader yesterday down in San Marcos. Saw the men's and women's teams for Texas State suit up and lose against Arkansas State. It was a good, nice doubleheader down there, though. And then, of course, hit up Gaddytown today, man, and got like 4,000 tickets and bought some cool shit. So pretty good weekend for me here. Good week of college basketball. Just ready to hop in this and break it all down.
Perfect. Yeah, before we get started, remember to go ahead and hit those like and subscribe buttons. Click on that notification bell so you can know exactly when we jump on these live shows. Our next goal is to hit 800 subs. And right now we're at 736. So tell your friends, tell your family. You know what? Tell that guy you think at work is annoying, who's annoying. He annoys you, just say, hey, GSM, go follow them. Now,
great conversation starter. Great conversation starter.
Exactly. Hey, you like GSM? No. First off, we have our first commenter here. Taylor coming in hot here. Always coming in the live comments. Let's get it. Appreciate the comment. Let's get it going. If you guys comment, we will definitely shout out, so keep them coming. But let's jump into the week's headlines here. We're going to start with number 7. Duke's roller coaster season continues with a loss at home to Pitt last night. Mike, they were a 12.5-point favorite at home. They're just not consistent, man. Do you have any thoughts on this?
Well, how much time do we have in this segment? Because I can go on a 20-minute rant about these Blue Devils. But, I mean, you let Pitt, who had the worst effective field goal percentage during conference play, come in and steal one. I don't care that Mark Mitchell was out. I don't care that Jeremy Roach was out. This team has too much talent for this to happen. The offense was fine for the most part, but their defense was shredded. And a lot of that has to do with obviously missing Mark Mitchell. But I don't know. It's one of those deals, right? I got to see Blake Hinson, give the Cameron Crazies a little bit of business there. So that was interesting to see. They do have Louisville next, but any chance for a number 1 seed, in my opinion, I think it's gone. Like I don't see it happening. This was our number 1 team to start the year, so it's pretty frustrating to see them, fall to this type of team. But ACC's been tougher than we thought they were going to be this year. So. Another loss though, and you can kiss that one line. Definitely goodbye.
Good for Hinson. Yeah. There's not a lot of times that you're going to get an opportunity. Not many players have stood on that scorer's table and took those middle fingers like he did.
Yeah, he did the Dwayne Wade.
Good for him. Good for him. That's amazing. Great job, sir.
Absolutely. And Mama Rocks coming in with a comment here. As always, hey, my dudes. Hey, Mama Rocks. Always a pleasure to have you in there. Rock? Let's go. Moving on to our next headline here, we have the Big 12 punching bag continues as Mike's Baylor Bears drop both games this week. They lost midweek on the road at K-State, then fell at Texas yesterday at the buzzer. Jay, what are you thinking about these Baylor Bears, my man?
That's life in the Big 12. It's the Big 12. Go play intramurals, brother, if you can't handle it. That includes Kansas. That includes Houston. Like every single night, we said this within the last week, at one point, all 14 Big 12 teams remaining strength of schedule was in the top 16. Every night is an absolute battle. Baylor didn't shoot well against Kansas State in the Little Apple. They did shoot well yesterday, but Texas shot 52% from the field. Is there anything harder in college basketball than winning on the road in the Big 12? Like,
no.
It's difficult as hell to go on the road in the Big 12 and find a way to win. And each one of those games matters so much. And if you can sneak out even a few of these wins, that's going to make, we were talking offline, talking about the Big 10 down to 7 teams because of some of these conferences, like the Mountain West stepping up, and like the Big 12 might get 9 probably here. So I don't really know where to put Baylor, though, nationally. 10 of their last 13 games are against teams currently ranked in the top 25. So I don't know that we can really – we talk about spinning the wheel all the time, guys. Like, spin the wheel on the teams in the Big 12 to see who's going to do, finish in the top 4, in the top 6 even. Like, this is just nobody knows what's going to happen, but that's what makes it so great, man. It's the greatest conference in the land.
Absolutely. It's a complete meat grinder, man. There's so many great teams, and they're just going to be beating each other up. So it's going to be fun to watch as the days get closer to the tournament here. We have another comment coming in, Mr. Mike Witzgow. Please say something nice about my Bearcats. Anything?
I mean, they're 2-3. We thought they would be 0-5 in Big 12 play. So, I mean, I don't know. That's a good thing, right? I mean, look, they're 33rd rated in KenPom. That just tells you the strength of the Big 12. I'm assuming you're talking about the Cincinnati Bearcats. I don't know any other Bearcats that are out there. But, hey, look, they're strong defensively. Bondego got his waiver. That should make them tough. Day Thomas has played really well. So, it's just tough. Life is tough. Can they be one of the 9 teams? They're going to have to – they had a little bit of work. It would start by a road win at Kansas on tomorrow. Would really do the trick. But,
but they're going to have –
I think that will help jump them up.
They'll have plenty of chances to get some tier 1, some quad 1 victories all the way through. So,
yeah, absolutely. So, hopefully that was nice enough for you, Mike. We'll go ahead and move on to the next headline here. We have number 13, Auburn, is here to stay after a big win over number 22, Ole Miss. Last week we asked Mike if he was ready to give them flowers, and he gave them the rose. Mike,
yes.
Is it time for a ring? Are you going to get down on one knee?
I will always love Bruce Pearl and the madness of this program that he has created, because the jungle is one of the coolest spots to watch a college basketball game. Their home court advantage is absolutely crazy. They're the 5th rated team on KenPom. 5th rated team. They sit alone atop the SEC. So, they've won every game in conference by double digits. They're top 10 in adjusted offense and defense. We know that they're one of the deepest teams in the country. That's what annoys us about DFS purposes. But hey, here we go. We got some road games coming up here at Alabama, at Mississippi State this week before we do our next recap show. So we'll see if a split there would be nice. If you get both, like you're talking about a team that could make a run for the one line for sure. So yeah, Bruce Pearl's done a fantastic job so far this year. They're one of the more intriguing teams. If they do have an injury or two, they have so much depth. Like they just have so many ways to attack you, and it's all coming together right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So you are getting on an E, it sounds like. So that's good. Good to hear, buddy. Moving on to our next headline, we have this, guys. This was the game of the year in my eyes, but it's definitely a candidate because we still got plenty more games to go. Creighton outlasting Seton Hall on the road in triple overtime. That's three overtimes.
I won. Not two.
Is that legal?
It's a shame someone had to lose this game, but the Big East is showing that it's one of the most competitive leagues in the country, other than the Big 12. Jay, what are your thoughts on that game, man? It was great.
Well, you got what you expected you to get out of the Big Three for Creighton. Kalkbrenner 28-9, Alexander 23-8-7, Shireman 20-10, and just throwing 6 on the side there. With that, that's Seton Hall's second loss in the conference, which may bode large down the line here. Richmond is living up to that high price that we're seeing him have in those DFS streets for Seton Hall, but Creighton just made more plays in the end, and that's what happens in a triple overtime game. Just who makes the most plays at the very end, and it happened to be Creighton. Big boost for Creighton, obviously. They get a beat-up Providence and other cellar dwellers like DePaul and Georgetown in 3 of the next 4, so it's going to get easier for Creighton. Maybe even some blowouts. It's going to make it a little bit trickier to maybe to pick and choose the guys that are going to be playing the most or all of those minutes for them down the line. But either way, they don't mind that at all, and the Blue Jays are flying high right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I had Kalkbrenner in that top 20 finish. And that triple overtime is the only reason I got to the top 20. Otherwise, I was not going to be getting much money. So that was a great game. It was fun watching that one, man. Well, that concludes our headlines for the week. But let us know in the comments if there's anything we missed. We love to hear from you guys out there. And while you're there, smash those like and subscribe buttons and follow your boys on X for some great college basketball content. Below them, you should see their ats there, their Twitter handles. But next is one of my favorite segments. We give some flowers and attention to those mid-major programs that often get overlooked. Mike is coming in with the mid-major minute.
All right, so looking here, we got some time for a couple of conference here that I wanted to shine a light on here. We got the Big South, High Point Panthers sitting at the top, 5-0. They're getting it done offensively, ranking 39th in adjusted offensive efficiency. That's in the country. They're getting it done by isolating mismatches, getting to the rim. They have a really high free throw rate. Troy transfer guard Duke Miles is lighting it up. He's averaging over 19 points, nearly 4 assists on the year. We thought UNC Asheville was going to be a kind of a runaway favorite here. They obviously have Big South Player of the Year Drew Pember. They're currently sitting at 1 game back at 4-1. Pember picked up where he left off last year. He's averaging 27-3. We got our calendars marked here. February 7th, there's a rematch with High Point, which is going to loom very large. High Point won the first one, 84-79. Also, there's Winthrop, who we talked about during our conference preview shows. They're currently sitting in 3rd, so they could definitely make a move. Also wanted to mention the Coastal Conference. Yes, they did change their name. They are the Coastal Conference now. We have a runaway leader with Drexel sitting at 7-0. The Dragons getting it done under Coach Zach Spiker. They have a balanced approach, both ends of the floor. They're getting it done. They use a deep bench. They come at you in waves. Amari Williams, we knew he was going to do his thing. He's one of the best permanent players in the country on both ends of the floor. But really, Justin Moore, their sophomore guard, he's leading the team in scoring and assists. He's taking this team to the next level. But you got a bunch of people that are going to be chasing him. UNC Wilmington, Charleston, Towson, and surprisingly, North Carolina A&T, all sitting at 4-2. So 4 of the next 5 games for Drexel come against these teams. So, yeah, we could have a shakeup here. UNC Wilmington, led by star Trezarian White. We played him a few times in DFS. They beat Kentucky this year. Charleston plays at one of the fastest tempos in the country, and they have a dynamic front court duo that can play inside and out, Nancy Bursavich and Ben Burnham. Towson, who we're used to seeing near the top of this conference here, fifth-year forward Charles Thompson. I mean, they already beat Wilmington this year. And then, like I said, North Carolina A&T, biggest surprise this year, Landon Glasper, their sophomore guard, has played very well. I think this race is going to tighten up, but for now, Drexel has that inside track to the league crown.
No, sorry. I just love that intro and outro music, man.
I'm not sorry.
As always, Mike, amazing job. Thank you so much. I just love showcasing these schools, man, because they don't get enough flowers, man. They don't get enough attention out there. But next, we have our world famous power rankings. We have some new faces here and some big moves. Let's go ahead and move into the power rankings. Mike, start us out with number 10. I'm sorry, not Mike.
All right, so
yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, we'll switch it up. Let's let Jay introduce number 10.
Yeah, let's switch it up.
Oh, well, if I have to, I'll go ahead and do it. Wisconsin. That's right, Wisconsin. Don't you forget about it. 14-4 overall, but 6-1 in the Big Ten now. 5 straight Big Ten wins to start. Fell at Penn State. Okay, that's all right. That's a pretty bad loss. But hey, I tell you what, Wisconsin on the way back up picked up a great win over Indiana on Friday, and that is the sign of a good team right there. Picking up a really solid win over Indiana. They're at 10, right? No change there. A bunch of upsets on Saturday. We're gonna let them hold on to that brass ring right there, because what it sounds like they did is I'm gonna put you in a mansion somewhere out in Wisconsin. All right, so Wisconsin at number 10.
Perfect. I'll go ahead and do number 9 here. Number 9, Oklahoma Boomer Sooners. 15-3, 3-2 in conference. They were not ranked in last week's recap. They started 3-0 in a tough Big 12, then dropped the next 2. This week, picked up some wins over West Virginia and Cincinnati. They re-enter our power rankings on the strength of the Big 12 alone here. But now, Mike, bring us in that number 8.
Oh, now I can go. All right, well, I'll get to talk about Kansas at number 8. 15-3, 3-2 as well. Fell to West Virginia yesterday, down 4 spots. Yikes. Feels like this team's just kind of missing that it factor. Big weeks from other teams dropped them down from the actual 1 line. They got some work to do. So, Jay, why don't we slide back over to you for number 7?
You know what Kansas felt? You know what they felt? They felt those country roads take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home, country roads. And there's nothing wrong with that. Still a top 10 team for our power rankings. Yeah, I'll take number 7. Let's go. Yeah, I'm happy that I get to talk about them. Auburn. We're not in our rankings previously, just like the Sooners. However, Auburn shooting up to number 7. We talked about it. These guys are for real. All alone atop the SEC. Some tough road games coming up. We'll see if they'll stick up here at number 7 or maybe even go higher with some solid wins. But for now, numero 7.
Perfect. Number 6 coming in is Tennessee, the Vols. 14-4, 4-1 in conference. They were not ranked in last week's, but the Volunteers are surging back into these power rankings. I mean, they look like $1 million with the addition of Connect. Among the SEC teams banging on the door for that 1 seed. They're killing it right now. But that is your number 6 team, the Tennessee Vols. Mike, bring us in with the top 5 here.
Top five. We'll go with Kentucky, 14-3, 4-1 in the aforementioned, if I can steal one of Jay's lines, SEC Conference. Picked up wins at home over Mississippi State and Georgia. 7'2", Big Z got his clearance and looks like an absolute X factor. If you haven't got a chance to watch him play, there's some highlight clips out there. throwing some behind the back passes. Dude scored like 30 fantasy points in the late slate in like 10 minutes. But there's some road games coming up that obviously loom large for all these teams, but Kentucky's got those coming up next week. Let's slide over to Jay for number 4.
Try to do the Zorro Z right there, but I don't know if I got it right or not. The Cougars of Houston up 3 spots, 16-2 overall, 3-2 in the conference. Nice bounce back win this week, or actually just a nice bounce back this week in general for the Cougars. But beating Texas Tech and UCF at home, needed to have a couple of home wins there. Now back on the road out to Provo to play BYU this week. So let's see what they can do. Going to Nape now for number 3. What do you say?
Number 3, we have the Purdue Boilermakers, 17-2, 6-2 in conference. No change here. They were number 3 last week. I mean, they smashed Indiana and Iowa this week. I mean, they have this guy. He's pretty good. Zach Edey, right? That's his name. Pretty damn good, huh? Expensive on the DFS line, but he's worth it. But yeah, they're looking like a number 1 seed lock here. I mean, they're great. Number 3, Purdue. Mike, bring us in number 2.
Number 2, old North Carolina. Come on and raise up. 15-3, 7-0. Running through the ACC. They did beat up on Louisville. Boston College as well to move to that 7-0 mark in conference. They've got a tough week coming up again. Wake Forest is coming to town, and they go to Florida State. Watch out for a trap in that game for sure. So North Carolina is number 2. And we'll go to Jay to introduce our number 1 team.
Let's go. I just hop onto a Sunday show and y'all let me do the number 1 ranked team. I appreciate it. That's love right there. That's love. The guy
You're the best.
The guy that says he doesn't want to work on Sunday shows up and then you still give him the number 1 team on the countdown. You guys are the best. I tell you what. UConn, of course it's UConn. No change here. Took care of business against Creighton and Nova this week. Klingon is back. He's back. And not like Sam Ehlinger saying the Longhorns are back when they won the Sugar Bowl. No. This Klingon is back. And if he's healthy, and if the rest of the Huskies are healthy too, as we head down the stretch, this is a team that, I don't think there's any question that they have a legit shot to repeat come March.
There we go. Those are our power rankings. We love doing these. Let us know what you think in those comments. But we have comments coming in from Mama Rocks saying, there it is. Sing it, Jay. So
hey, listen.
Jay comes in, starts singing.
Here's the deal. No, I'm No, listen. I got asked to sing that at a karaoke at an event, running an event at work at my day job. My night job is hanging around here working with you jabronis. My day job, running an event, an 8-year-old says, "Mr. J, what do you want to sing?" And I was like, "I don't know. You can pick. Well, I'll just sing whatever you say." And she goes, "I shit you not." She says, "Can we sing Country Roads?" And I was like, that is some fine parenting, right? That unprompted. I wish I was joking. That is not a joke. Actually, I don't wish I was joking because I'm so happy that it happened that way. That is the honest truth. What are the odds? They're pretty good because we know how powerful the GSM universe is and everything, all of the energy that comes out of it. Mama Rocks is a big part of that. Thanks for commenting. Appreciate the love there.
Absolutely. And it's infectious because you got us singing. Heck, you got Mike singing over here nowadays. So it's a good time. Always love it. Next segment here, we have our new one. New segment, Watch here. We have Bubble Watch. With March Madness coming closer and closer.
Bubble Watch.
There it is. Yeah, we just wanted to add a segment here talking about the bubble. We're going to talk about some teams on the bubble and their resumes. So, Mike, I'm going to start with you. Why don't you give us our first bubble team here?
Yeah, I think we have to have a conversation about our Georgia Bulldogs here. The aforementioned, again, Georgia Bulldogs. 13-5, 3-2 in SEC. So you're thinking, yeah, it's probably right there. 81st in the net, so it's not great. Non-conference strength of schedule was just okay. 178th in the country. That's not great. Not going to push them any further along. 1-2 in the quad 1, 3-3 in quad 2. Their best win is over Wake Forest in the second game of the year. they're going to need to pick up at least 2 more quad 1 wins and not have a setback here. So while we didn't predict Georgia being where they are right now, they have a chance in Mike White's second season to kind of move forward. So I'm looking at Georgia on the bubble right now. Jay, who do you got on the bubble?
Mama Rock shouting out their dogs there on the old bubble. Mama Rocks, what's it going to take for Georgia to get over the hump? What do you think? Leave it in the live chat for us. Syracuse is my next team on the bubble here. 13-5 overall, 4-3 in the ACC, 69th, nice in net ranking. But really, that's all being carried by that 16th rated strength of schedule. Only 1-5 in quad 1 versus quad 1 opponents. 3-0 in quad 2, so taking care of business there, but can't really afford a setback at this point for the Orange. So that's why they're living on the old bubble. Back to you, Mike. Who's your next bubble team?
Yeah, next bubble team, Washington State from old Nate's Pac-12 Conference, 13-6, 4-4 in Pac-12 play. Their resume, 53rd in the net. So, that's getting it done, but horrible non-conference strength of schedule, 315th in the country. They're 1-3 in the quad 1, an okay 3-1 in quad 2. It's just not a banner year in the Pac-12. So these quality win opportunities, they're very, very precious. And there's just not a lot, when USC and UCLA are down in the Pac-12, it's just, kind of drags the whole conference down a little bit. So they're going to have to win these quality games that they have coming up. So, Jay, who you got as our fourth team?
Providence Friars, 12-6 overall, 3-4 in the Big East. The net ranking is still, it's right there, right? 53rd net ranking. Hopkins out, obviously, so that's an issue. 2-3 in quad 1 games and 2-3 versus quad 2 opponents. Do they pass the eye test, though? Like this, I don't think they have yet. They're going to have some opportunities in the Big East, but it has not happened really up until this point. And they're going to have to probably finish above 500 in the conference to get in. So we'll see what the Friars do, Mike.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That injury, man, they just look different. I don't know if we're going to have the college football playoff, theme here, but I mean, honestly, they just don't look like the same team. So that's got to count for something. Gonzaga, our fifth and final team. Weird to say that out loud. I just can't believe this is where we're at. I mean, look at it. They're 30th in the net. They're 13-5, 4-1 in conference. But the Mountain West and the Big 12, they're making it really hard for the WCC to keep a second bid right now. We've been used to the WCC having a second bid forever. I mean, it's been, St. Mary's and Gonzaga for forever, and maybe even a third team. Sometimes Santa Clara, sometimes San Francisco. But they're 0-4 in quad 1 opportunities, 2-1 in quad 2. The good thing for Gonzaga, though, they have both games against St. Mary's, which will be quad 1 opportunities. And then they have a big road game, a random non-conference game in February on the road at Kentucky, which is going to be huge.
Wow.
So, yeah. I mean, that scheduling right there might be the reason why they get in, and maybe a Big 12 school bumps down to 8, or probably most likely a Mountain West school drops from potential 6 bids back down to 5 bids. So that is something to watch. That February game between Gonzaga and Kentucky looms large. And I think we got a couple more comments. Mama Rocks was responding to you there, Jay, about her dogs.
Yeah, I need a center that can play. I'm sorry. I have eligibility, but I'm a point guard by trade. So I'm ineligible there to fill that need. And then Mike saying Ingram to hit the portal and come to Athens.
Come to Athens. Wait, yeah, that'll both help. Or some quad 1 wins, that could help too.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Go ahead, Jay.
I was just going to say, I don't know what's more realistic. So go ahead.
Well, I do have a quick question. So I know I had asked you guys this in the past, but maybe there's some people out there that don't necessarily know what this term means. What is the quad 1 and the quad 2? Could you break that down real quick just so people could kind of understand that a little bit?
Yeah, so so this kind of replaced this is a new metric that the NCAA committee is using in order to kind of like compare teams. So quad 1 wins are any quality wins on the road, also neutral sites. So all those mega tournaments that you see out there that are being played. You actually get bonus, bump. You don't get knocked for that type of stuff. And then you have 4 quads. So quad 1 is obviously tough road wins, neutral site wins, and then obviously high ranking wins. You kind of slide down. You definitely do not want to have losses in the quad 3 and quad 4 tiers. Those are absolutely detrimental. You want to have a solid foundation when it comes to quad 1 wins and quad 2, and your quad 2 record also matters as well. So that's why the net is very important for these teams. Do I agree with it all the time? I mean, it's tough, right? Because the teams can slide in and out. So it's not like where you would say you got this win like last year. North Carolina was number 1 to start the year if somebody beat them early in the year, like Iowa State did last year. Well, later in the year, that doesn't become a quad 1 win anymore, which is, I mean, I guess that's right, but it's kind of rough because you did beat them when they were a top ranked team. But now since they had such a bad season, that falls all the way down to I think they were in the quad 2 last year when they finished. So, it's still got some quirks to it, but definitely, I just think it's a good way to try to compare teams, especially when you're choosing. It really comes down to choosing the last four in essentially. So that's the big thing that we like to use it for, which is why we included on our Bubble Watch report.
Yeah, exactly. I just love having that information because, probably somebody watches that and they're like, what the hell is a quad 1? So good.
Quad 1 is what I pulled playing dodgeball the other day. My right quad actually strained that a little bit. So that was quad 1. Quad 2's barely holding on to. So we'll see how that goes.
Holding on by a thread, huh?
And he's still here doing the show, man. What a guy!
Showing up, playing hurt.
Absolutely.
It's one thing if you're hurt. If you're injured, that's one thing. If you're hurt, you try to play through that.
Yeah. So the quads it's replaced. The net has replaced the RPI, which is they still kind of use the RPI, but they're like using a new formula to include the RPI in the net. So yeah, quad 1 wins are, to give you the specific definition for you people out there, home games versus teams with an RPI rank 1 through 30, a neutral game versus a team between 1 through 50, and an away game between 1 through 75. So, a little bit of grace when you're going on the road, right? But it's just a good way to kind of break down 4 tiers of teams. So
quad 1, great teams, great.
Yeah.
Teams. Quad 4, bad. It basically breaks it down for you there. Okay, there you go.
That's the layman's terms. Thank you, Jay.
That works for me.
Hey, I'm full on layman right here. I'm the layman of the group here. But that was our Bubble Watch. Let us know in the comments how you liked it. If you like this, something we can definitely continue doing. We're trying to just get a lot more content out there, especially with March coming up. And while you're in those comments, make sure you hit those like and subscribe buttons. Hit that notification bell. Follow us. Get all the college basketball information that you want from us. But moving on here, this wouldn't be a one and done show without you getting the Core Four plays. Tomorrow we have a 2-game slate. We all know you have that itch. Jay, why don't you run down that Core Four for us?
Got that itch, baby.
2 games, Jay. What do we do, man? 2 games?
Hey, Sensational hopping in the comments saying they like the Bubble Watch. Thanks for jumping in there for sure. And then Snake Eyes, great job, guys. Love your breakdowns. Snake Eyes, we appreciate you, of course. And we appreciate y'all sticking around all the way to the end of the show for the Core Four here. Tomorrow, like Mike said, just a 2-gamer. But there's probably some plays here that'll work for any kind of lineup that you're doing because it's so, what are you going to do? The depth is as deep as 4 teams, right? So,
yeah.
I mean, honestly, right? So for me, going to start big with Baycott. I love Armando Baycott, especially at 8K. The dude's a walking double-double, and I'm going to play him quite often, especially at this price. So 8K for Armando Baycott. Cormac Ryan for North Carolina at 4.9. Bargain bin shopping right here. If you hang out with us over at drroto.com and you see our Monday night and Thursday night breakdowns and all that stuff, we got bargain bin stuff, and that's where I would find Cormac Ryan, which is ridiculous to me. The threes are there. It's play Ryan, plug him in tomorrow. John Furphy for Kansas, 5.1K. New starter on the wing for them, getting more minutes. So kind of like this, going to jump in on Furphy before he climbs into that 6.2, 6.3 range that makes me not want to play him anymore. And then Hunter Salas, of course. I've been on Salas for a while. We've all been on Salas for a while. What a stud. 7K flat. No need to worry. My accountant handles that. Leaves you with 6.25 per player remaining, $6,250 per player left to have a little bit of fun and get this bread. Baycott, Ryan, Furphy, and Salas. Look at that. Look at the crack engineering team in the background. Zooming in on the Core Four there, showing you the digits right there for your face. Eat it up and enjoy. There's your Core Four, ladies and gents.
And do something weird. It's a 2-game slate, so
yeah.
I mean, just get weird. Just playing 700 teams with a player pool of 18 guys. Like, you got to find the 18th guy that no one thinks is going to do anything.
Right.
It's probably the only way Wake Forest guys are going to get owned. It's because it's in a 2-game slate, like we've been talking about.
They played 35 minutes.
Yeah, well, and we're probably going to look. Salas will I texted you guys. Salas was less than 4% in my tournament that I played in.
What are we doing?
If he's not like at least 15%, something's up. Something's going on.
Yeah.
If these Wake guys aren't more owned in this 2-game slate.
Absolutely. Mama Rock shouting out Damari Monsanto here. Coming back. He's back. Finally, man. Just took a long while to get over the injury, but yeah, he's draining threes. I think he had 20 fantasy points in 10 minutes the other day. So.
Didn't play very much. He filled it
up. Didn't play very much. So we'll see how that could affect one of the. He can play a little bit of kind of like that. They like to play. Right now they're liking to play 2 bigs. So it'll be interesting to see if they want to either cut down either Salas or Kevin Miller or Cameron Hildreth minutes, or if he's going to take some of that 4-spot minutes. You got Carr there, Efton Reed. It'll be Wake's got. It's always a good thing when you have more pieces though. So we'll see what they do with Monsanto. Yep, absolutely.
Good deal. Well, that is your Core Four. As always, thank you for stopping in with us, and thank you to all of our live commenters: Mama Rocks, Taylor, Mike W, Sensational, and Snake Eyes. We appreciate every single one of you and everybody out there. Go out there, make a stranger smile. You never know what a little levity will do for somebody, make their day. But until next time, let's get that bread.
Thanks for stopping by the office. Get your fantasy prescription by subscribing to the channel and checking out drroto.com. And until the next visit, be well and take care.